I can name everybody on newsagents.
Well, there's only 3 of us, mate.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It's not hard. And I've covers. I'm sorry, but you call it. Now, look, you're the egotistical one. You call it the Chris Moyles Show. Now, if you wanted to get James in, and the good captain here, how's the nan, by the way?
Right. Well, you briefed him on the way in, did you, James?
No.
That's the one thing he picked up from the show.
It's all they're talking about on the streets is your interest in older women, Captain. My captain.
He's the very brainy, but probably a bit ditzy in real life, Lewis Goodall. Good morning, Lewis.
Good morning. What an introduction.
Welcome to the Chris Moyles Show.
Well, and it is a pleasure to be here. It's fine. It's nice to actually be on a professional outfit in this building for once.
Yes.
Rather than the day job. And James O'Brien.
If this goes well, it actually, regardless of whether it goes well or not, once we get to the end of this interview, the only person left who's not been on our show will be Emily Mateless.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, she's very reclusive, unfortunately.
You can wave that.
Howard Hughes about her.
Wave that in her face that she's never made it to the Chris Moyles Show. And it turns out Lewis is a massive fan. I said, have you ever heard the show before? He said, yeah, I listened this week.
Yeah.
We've been on for 10 years.
There's a lot of content out there, Chris. There's a lot of content to listen to, as you know. Not least in this building.
Like what? What do you listen to?
What do I listen to?
Heart at the musicals?
Yeah, I love a bit of... well, actually, I find that the Heart's kind of, sub-brandings, going back to the 70s, isn't early enough for me. I'd quite like a sort of Heart 40s is my preferred thing. A little bit of Vera Lynn, all that sort of stuff.
How old are you?
I'm not sure. No one quite remembers. I need to find the documentation.
Do you keep it a secret, your age?
I like to, mainly because, as a man who has a lot of deep interest in the 19th century, I like to try and kind of, pretend a certain authority. So I don't want to reveal that, actually. In fact, I'm the same age as Taylor Swift, who I understand is on a proper breakfast show this morning somewhere.
Yeah, but she's on tape, so what can you do? But you're live, which is good. Now, Lewis is... so what's your background, Lewis? Because I don't actually know that much about you. You appeared in my life... when the newsagents launched.
Yes.
They brought you in as the young whippersnapper.
Well, that wasn't hard to do when John Sopel, the European
you're very cruel.
Oh, no, it's not cruel. I mean, it is just a statement. In fact, if we don't know my age, Chris, we definitely know his. And, he started out when Palmerston was Prime Minister. So.
Wow.
I know.
Look at you.
Do you get Palmerston on the show? Does Palmerston come up on this show much?
Lord Palmerston, yeah.
The pub.
Yeah, we've had a few drinks there.
Yeah.
Nice little boozer in London.
Lovely in East Dulwich, yeah. Shout out to all the lads there.
No, not in East Dulwich, please. North London.
Oh, right, sorry.
No, never crossed.
You're one of those sort of snobs, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. You think I clawed my way out of Leeds to end up in South London? I don't think so, love.
I don't know.
Or wherever East Dulwich is. I don't know. I don't go over the river. So what is your background?
Well, I mean, look, I was, like John and Emily, I was at the BBC, obviously for not nearly as long. I mean, I was Newsnight, Sky News, political journalist covering all the sort of Brexit stuff, and I worked with Emily in the COVID years during Newsnight. In fact, we were just talking about COVID just earlier on.
With James.
With James.
Big listener.
Yeah.
I mean, I can name everybody on newsagents.
Well, there's only 3 of us, mate.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It's not hard. And I've covers. I'm sorry, but you call it. Now, look, you're the egotistical one. You call it the Chris Moyles Show. Now, if you wanted to get James in, and the good captain here, how's the nan, by the way?
Right. Well, you briefed him on the way in, did you, James?
No.
That's the one thing he picked up from the show.
It's all they're talking about on the streets is your interest in older women, Captain. My captain. How is that going, by the way?
No, let's get back to your podcast, shall we?
No. Let's go back to that.
So, coining it's out. Let's get on that.
I'm a big fan of the newsagents. I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you.
It's and also I made a joke about it earlier, but this is genuine. The dedication from you three and the people who work on it is ludicrous. I'll be honest, it puts the rest of us at Global to shame because you listen to the newsagents and it'll be like, as we're recording this, if I do, Emily, as we're recording this, it's 11:30 on a Tuesday.
Yes.
But then equally in the same episode, you might then...
Princess Diana there, actually, Chris.
Well, it's Emily. She's posh, isn't she?
Well, there were 3 of us in this podcast, so it's a bit crowded.
She's very, very posh, Emily, isn't she?
Look, she's posh-ish. She would dispute that. I've called her posh and she gets very upset.
Do you think she gets out of the bath for a wee? The answer is yes. She's posh. That's how you judge it.
Oh, please, no, I can't. Don't make me think about her in the bath.
But you'll record at 11:30 on a Tuesday morning, and then in the same episode, there'll be like a little break, and then it'll go, okay, so it's now 5:45 in the evening and we've had to come back together because this story is broken or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or it might be 8:00 at night, or you might be in the studio and they are anywhere else, or you might be in
some ambassador's reception somewhere.
But wherever you are, you will get together, at least two of you or one of you, and do the podcast. So it's constantly rolling all the time, the news agents. It's a lot of graft because it's news and news doesn't end.
Yeah, and it turns out that pre-recording a podcast at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is not necessarily the best medium for rolling news.
No.
So it's not completely ideal all the time. But look, it's it's like this. I mean, it just doesn't slow down. I remember during the general election, loads of people were saying to us, well, when Starmer gets in, well, that'll be it, right? That'll be it for you. That'll be it for the news. It'll all calm down. It'll all go back to quote unquote normal, as if it was like 1998 or something. And we all would start talking about is whether we're going to join the euro or not. And in fact, of course, nothing has gone back to normal because politics has just fundamentally shifted, whether it's a Labour government or a Tory government or whatever it happens to be. And Trump is back, of course, so it's all fine.
He's what?
He's back.
Why do you guys
Finger
talk
on the
about
pulse,
this?
man. Finger on the pulse.
So there's the news agents and then the news agents USA.
Yes.
So everything is covered. That's lovely. But now...
Because we don't talk about the news agents US on the main show, of course. It's an underappreciated market for us. So it's important we had a spin-off.
Oh, you made a comment about my ego, but now you have gone out on your own. You've left Grandpa John behind.
Yep.
And you've got your own podcast now called Coining It.
Coining It. Yes, Coining It.
Which is, now, I'm on episode 4.
Well, that's good.
Thank you. And what I love is, it's about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely thoroughly enjoy it and get intrigued by the story without, like me, really understanding what Bitcoin is. Still to this day, and I've had explained to me by some of the best people, I still don't fully understand
Bitcoin. Now you've got me here, and so you definitely won't understand it.
Well, it's great because you don't bother really explaining what Bitcoin is, which is lovely because we all know Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And actually, for this story, you don't need to know the ins and outs of how Bitcoin works, what Bitcoin is. You just know that Bitcoin can be worth money. End of story.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's worth a lot of money.
So tell us about the story and tell us about how you got into it.
So the story was, actually, funnily enough, it was a weird genesis of it because it was basically came about because one of the producers knew someone who had basically been in prison with one of the people who were eventually caught up in it without spoiling my I've spoiled it now.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm on episode 4. I just tell you.
Just don't bother about it.
They've only just gone to Dubai.
Yeah. And they basically what happens is that there's this guy called James Parker. He's a very down on his luck guy. He's living in Blackpool, 2012, 2013. He lives in a bedsit. His health is really bad. He hasn't got a job. He's on benefits. But what he basically spends most of his time doing is solving these little online puzzles. And these online puzzles, which basically is sort of a form of data harvesting. And in return, they'll give you a tiny, tiny fragment of a big Bitcoin. It'll be worth like either pennies or pounds or whatever it happens to be. And he discovered, using a website where you basically cash this stuff in, he discovered a glitch one day where basically he realized that for all of the money he was putting in, he would double the amount of money he was getting out, the Bitcoin he was getting out. Basically, he discovered a glitch on this website, which was literally a license to print money. And he did it once, I think it was a glitch, did it twice, did it 10 times, did it 50 times, did it 100 times. And before you know where you are, before he knew where he was a multi-millionaire, having been living in this little bedsit.
Go on, son.
Yeah, I know, yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point of the story. The story is, really, as you say, Chris, it's not really about Bitcoin at all. It's about his personal story, this very odd, interesting guy who decides not just to, cash in himself, but decides to basically start telling everybody he knows about this glitch. So before you know where you are, he's got this entire street which is full of luxury cars, Porsches, Lamborghinis, all this sort of stuff, this little tiny street in Blackpool. And he's told all of his friends about it. And it's a story of their friendship, how their friendship ultimately collapses. And also just asking the moral question, which you just alluded to, Chris, which is, if this were you, what would you have done? Because on paper, it was like, no one was suffering here. Was it fraud? Was it not? It was literally just this money being created every single time he did it.
It's the equivalent of, and tell me if I'm wrong, going to the hole in the wall and just tapping in hash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hash, and then it goes, how much money do you want? And you go, oh, okay, I'll have £50. There you go, that's £50.
Exactly right.
You go to another one and you go hash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hash. I'll have £100. There you go, there's £100.
I remember at that time as well, when it starts, Bitcoin, I mean, you said, Chris, it's still like pretty sort of opaque to you, and it is to a lot of people even now, even though it's become...
I don't even know what opaque means.
Well, indeed so. Well, well. And he at that time, vaguely knew anything about himself. Very few people knew anything about it, right? It was even sort of shadier, even more kind of in the dark than it is today. And also, of course, I mean, the other thing, and the thing that really got me interested in it as well, inevitably, because I'm a weirdo, is the sort of politics of it, which is to say, look, not just Bitcoin, but crypto in general has obviously become a means of a lot of people, a lot of pretty shady people all around the world making a lot of money. It's the reason that people like crypto is that it's unregulated by states. With Bitcoin, there are only a certain number of them in the world. They're unregulated by states. The sort of libertarians kind of the world who love this stuff think it will be an alternative to currency because it can't be manipulated by governments, but it's also generally untraceable. It's largely unregulated even to this day. States struggle to regulate it. And so loads of people, very rich people, have made a hell of a lot of money over the years from it. Look at Trump himself, right? Trump, days before he becomes president, when he will literally become the man who is in charge of regulating the biggest crypto market in the world, i.e. the United States, issues his own new it's not even a currency, but kind of digital token. He makes a huge amount of money from it because investment floods into it because people think, well, this guy's going to be regulating it. Melania does the same. 2 days later, what does he say? He's asked about it in the press conference and he said, Mr. President, don't you think this is a big conflict of interest? And he goes, well, how much money did I make? And they say, well, about $2 billion. And he goes, well, that's a lot less than a lot of people, and that's it. And so you've got people like that making that amount of money. And as far as I know, there are very few people in the UK who have ever been convicted, sent to prison for crypto-related fraud. The subject of this series are the few that we know about. And the question is kind of, actually, in their case, was anyone really suffering? And why were they? They were made an example of by the justices. And they were made an example of by the police because they wanted to send out a message that this sort of stuff wouldn't be tolerated. But were they the easy targets? Whereas, as we know, not far away from here, all sorts of big financial institutions do all sorts of things that we just don't understand and know about. And they're never subject to those proceedings.
Lewis Goodall, if you found yourself in a scenario, let's just say, where you could sell a Bitcoin, get paid for it, and then buy it back for zero. Therefore, you keep the money and you keep your Bitcoin, and then you sell your Bitcoin again, you get your money for it, and then you buy your Bitcoin back for zero. Let's just say because there was a glitch in the system. Mm-hmm. What would you do?
What would I do, Chris?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I would, of course, alert the authorities immediately.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
And wouldn't you just do that?
You wouldn't see my ass for dust. I would learn how to type on a keyboard with my left foot, my right foot, my left hand, and my right hand, and that would be my full-time job.
But the thing is, what's sweet about the thing about this series about coining it is that it would be, if it was just a story of just someone sort of cashing in, that would be one thing, coining it as it were. But the fact is that it is Parker, this guy at the centre of it, is such a weird, intriguing character. He basically kind of, at one point, he confides to his friends that he thinks that he is Jesus, and that this is kind of like this is sort of, the fact that this has happened to him confirms that in his own head. He says, you know what, I think I might be Jesus. And they go, James, what do you mean? Literally, it's like, yeah, literally Jesus. I think I might be reincarnated as Jesus.
Doesn't he think that he's allowing Jesus to retire?
Yeah,
and then he will take over the role of Jesus.
And to be fair, Jesus has had a good run of it. It's 2,000 years or so. So you can understand the guy might be a bit knackered. So he comes in and he's saying that, and that's one of the reasons. I mean, it would have been. He would probably never have been found out if he had just sat there quietly, just sort of taking a bit here, taking a bit there. No one would have ever known. Bear in mind, at that time, I say that this stuff was freshly known. Some of the things I love about this story is just to kind of it's so English, it's so British. When the Lancashire police start to kind of get alert to it, there's literally one guy in the sort of digital fraud squad at Lancashire police, right? And he's phoning up the Met going what's Bitcoin? And they're like, I don't know. There's all of this stuff. It's all sort of a bit sort of amateur hour. And if he had just kind of just sat back, took a little bit here, took a little bit there, it would almost never have been found out. The problem is he decides to tell all of his friends, not just that he's got it, but how to use the glitch itself. And
Because he's a nice guy.
Because he's a nice guy.
He's sharing it.
He's doing slightly suspicious things like giving £500 tips to the taxi drivers on the way to the casino in Blackpool, you know, and like they start nicknaming it, the taxi drivers, the wacky races, because they're all desperate. As soon as they hear this guy is there, they're all driving down to his house, right? Because like they're like, this guy, this weirdo, he's giving out 500 quid tips.
We're talking about, if you just switched on, this is Lewis Goodall talking about his new podcast called Coining It. It's fascinating. And also as well, it's a great listen. The sound design on it is lovely. They play French music when they go to Blackpool for some reason. Bar that, it's lovely. And it really is, it's lovely. It's that theatre of the mind where you've got Lewis telling you the story. They're in Blackpool. It's just great. But also, it's really interesting because, we got it here. We got this lovely...
Let me start all of this by welcoming you to, in a way, one of the main characters of this story. Blackpool. A big, bold, brashy, northern seaside town where Britain comes to let it all hang out.
Have you been to Blackpool?
I was conceived in Blackpool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're quite common.
On the pleasure beach, so my father says. My mother has other ideas, but yeah, I was...
It wasn't the pleasure beach, it was a B&B.
It was a B&B. It was a B&B, yeah. Yeah, on a little holiday. Well, no, yeah, congratulations to Blackpool. Yeah.
So you had to go...
Black there now, yeah.
You went to Blackpool and talked to a lot of the characters in this?
Yeah, indeed, because they are, I mean, some of them are not available for various different reasons, but yeah, we basically got great access to talk to nearly all of the people who are involved in it in one way or the other. And like Blackpool, in a way, Blackpool, as I say there, it is kind of a character of the story, because like, you might think as well, suddenly you make all this money. One of the sort of charming things about this in a way, and you can't help but like these guys, even though they are like convicted fraudsters, because like, you know, you might think, well, you literally get a license to print money, and then you know, where do you go? You know, you leave, you actually go to France, you go to Monte Carlo, you go wherever. What do they do? The most glamorous thing that James Parker can think of, he's got all this money, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a hotel in Fleetwood, which is like 5 miles up the road from Blackpool, right? Just this sort of old Victorian hotel. And he just starts living there. And he's living a life, as far as he's concerned, you know, he's living the life of Riley. He's just the most glamorous thing ever.
Free dressing gowns.
Yeah.
Teas and coffees and little sachets.
Exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
But he's a fascinating character because he starts to make this money and then he's essentially starts sharing it out. And it's like, oh, he's talking to someone in the bar and they're saying, oh, things are really bad at the moment with money. He's like, how much do you need? And he just goes, here you go, here's an envelope, here's $2,000.
Yeah.
So he starts giving it out. So he becomes a little bit more popular than he used to be. But
I think that's fair.
He's like a little Robin Hood character.
He is. And what was very striking as well, I mean, there's a sort of slightly darker side to him, which is that, and again, this is one of the things that, you know, you never quite get to the bottom of, and I think is one of the kind of moral interesting things about the story, which is that, you know, he starts to befriend, you know, women who are much younger than him. Sometimes, you know, we're talking about sort of, you know, late teenagers and so on. And, you know, you're sat there and you're thinking, what's going on? There's something sort of untoward here, you know, uncomfortable here. And yet you sort of interview all of these young women who they're obviously older now, but they go, oh no, there was absolutely nothing like that at all. It was not remotely. He was just this incredibly nice man. And then you have all these people around him, as you say, Chris, who become hangers-on. And each one of them to this day saying, well, of course, I never benefited from the money. Of course not. And then there was this outstanding question, which is there's still millions of this Bitcoin still missing and unaccounted for. You know, a lot of these people have ended up being subject to the proceeds of crime acts and their houses and whatever it is seized and taken away from them. But there is still Bitcoin, the missing Bitcoin out there, which has just disappeared. And you'll be amazed to hear none of the people involved claim to know where it is.
I'm only on episode 4. I think I know where it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on. Tell me.
It's in Dubai.
It's in Dubai. Well, that is possible. That is certainly possible.
Well, listen, if you want to listen to it, I can thoroughly recommend it. It's called Coining It. It's set in Blackpool, where Lewis went, oh, hello, welcome to the Blackpool Tower. So it's called Coining It. It's out now. The podcast is available now. You can get it on Global Player and wherever you get your podcast from. Before you go. No, it's good. Send our love to the rest of the newsagents. Are you recording today? You have to because you're here now.
Yes. John will be in later. Emily doesn't work Fridays, of course.
What?
No, not for the Duchess. No.
What?
Friday. No, she doesn't do Fridays.
No news on Friday.
No news on Fridays. No.
She has Fridays off.
Oh, she has Fridays off, yeah.
Have a word.
I know. It's pathetic. Who do you think she is?
You can listen to the newsagents. It's every day the newsagents is out. And
Have you met Trump?
The newsagents.
Yes.
Booze agents.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, literally played a bit of audio.
Sorry.
You go, have you met Trump? We're still on the air.
I thought it was the jingle.
What?
I thought it was the jingle.
No.
I asked him whether he was a fascist, and he gave me this horrible death stare.
He said,
which was
I'm
actually quite
I am. I'm the fastest.
I am.
They say I'm the fastest. There's no one ever as fast as me.
I like this guy, Moyles, and the captain, great guy.
So
I like Nans too.
We're going to play some lovely audio from your own podcast.
Okay.
It's a little trick that we discovered. It's a glitch in the system.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Whereas if you basically slow it down, you sound drunk. And so the news agents for us is now the booze agents, which we love. We want to get it voiced properly, but...
The newsagents. Booze agents.
Yeah.
The newsagents.
It's John. And it's Lewis in Nevada. Oh, I didn't... Oh, you're still in Nevada. Put it this way, John.
That's the most cogent John Samples ever sounded.
At Caesar's Palace. Any hope of any further trips the rest of the year for you have long since evaporated.
So, listen, for Christmas, or make some noise or something like that, we all get dragged into that. Why don't you do a drunk news agent?
That won't be that difficult.
The three of you
Considering our team have been banned from the pub.
get battered,
Yeah.
and then off you go. Uncensored news agents, drunk.
Emily's tipple, of course, is a vodka or a martini, so it won't take long for her.
There you go.
It won't take long for her. John's not a big pub man, you won't be surprised to hear.
Well, you've been in the pub around the corner.
Correct.
You know when you came in and you met Captain? You've been in the pub with Captain.
We actually have.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
had
there
a
we go.
You had a toe to
You
toe.
were with that old lady at the bar.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sure.
Agnes, great to see.
And on that bombshell, Lewis, nice to see you. Good to meet you properly.
Thanks. No, lovely to meet you.
Coining It is out now, and also the news agents. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lewis Goodall.
The Chris Moyles Show.